Greetings and salutations, folks. My name is Nick, and welcome back to Forza Motorsport 7 for the second to last time, because there's only so many points left in the total, and I imagine I'm 2 sets away from finishing the Forza Drivers' Cup. What are we going to do next? I'm thinking vintage sport because of the wide variety of vehicles, and maybe supercar renaissance to finish this off. Yes, that's what we're gonna do. So today we'll do vintage sport compact. Tomorrow we will do supercar renaissance.
They are fun, lightweight, and great to look at. Let's take a moment and celebrate these sport coupes from the 60s and 70s. Automobiles that were the precursors to today's modern sport compacts.
I guess they're oak. What kind of cars do we have? Do we have ones with... We need something with decent acceleration, especially since these aren't really going to be driving particularly fast. I kind of like that one. I've got a lot of these cars, actually. Do I? No, I don't. I don't own any of these. And they are all fairly cheap, except for... Yeah, that one's the most expensive at $73,000. We will buy the most expensive car. And we're not going to waste time with 1-star to 2-star. Let's pick... a red car. Nah, we drove a red Ferrari last. Polished carbon fiber. Let's go with that. Hit the open road in our polished carbon fiber, and of course it's raining the first day, so all cars are just gonna look a little bit dark anyway. Let's go for improved race rewards, because that's a reward regardless of what happens. Alright, we're not going to have that much time to really get in between cars before this first turn shows up. Maybe just enough to actually build up a little bit of distance. Which is not bad, although I have a feeling this is going to be a tricky car to really... worry about outpacing my opponents. Like, that's going to be for the last race. I figure if I'm going to play one final set, I might as well make the final set all about speed. But this one, we can slow things down one last time. Hope for the best, expect the worst. I don't think it really matters too much how well I do over the next 2 sets. I have... Oh, son of a... friggin' water. I have about 13,000 points to make up. And each set is worth a potential... 10,000. Oh, yep. My thumb is... Aside from driving on grass, my thumb is not behaving. I need to focus... Like, when it's raining, I really need to focus more on doing very slight... No, you can drive your M&M car off the road. I'm surprised that worked. I'm going to accept it because it worked. But I'm still surprised that it actually did work. Especially since I was able to fend off both the first place contender and the third place contender trying to take both of us down. Though I feel that's just more fuel towards the idea that I've been maintaining for quite a while now. That I'm actually not bad in regards to maintaining the lead. When it comes to acquiring the lead, not quite as good. Because that actually does require better skill at driving and narrow... Like, you have to be a better driver than the person ahead of you. Versus, like, I was able to fend both of them off fairly well just by being a little bit more of an aggressive driver. Especially that third place contender who got shoved off into the sand wastes. Son, I really need to remember that there are puddles on the sides of the road, and I should be driving more down the center of the road, because there are less puddles there. But that's okay, because I'm sure I'm going to only race down so many rainy tracks before this game is over. This may be one of the very last. Not the last. I wouldn't be surprised if there's one more rainy track down this set, especially considering the fact they were opening with a rainy track. And there's one to two more rainy tracks in the next set. But their days are numbered. Oh, hold on. Is it sunny now? I honestly didn't realize this game did that. I don't think I've ever raced a course. I keep calling them course. I blame Mario Kart entirely. I keep racing I don't think I've ever raced a track where it started off raining and then became sunny. It always started off clear and then became raining. And I was looking at the leaderboard, and I'm like wondering what happened to my friend who's always kind of at the second place or first place position. And I almost forgot that I had just knocked him off the side of the road, and like they showed up in like 10th or 11th place because of that. Let's buy us some mods first before we go into this one. Let's buy top 5, top 3. And yeah, that one to round out our collection. Yeah, I'm not really that into it. Let's throw down place 3rd or better. And it's a sunny day. A quick turn to the right is how we're starting the race, followed by a series of miniature turns. Nope, son of a... Nope. That was not exactly very much finesse in that turn, but... There we go. Oh my gosh. Nope. I was pushing it a little bit too close that entire time. I'm impressed I held on as long as I did. All right. We're in, what, 7th place? Everybody's a little bit ahead of me. 6th place, okay, I'll take it. That was a good turn. All I heard was squealing from my tires. I'll take it, though. A little bit on the skidding. Like, this car skids a little bit more than I'd like. It's no off-road buggy skid. I will always forever... Well, I won't always forever. Eventually I'll forget. But I will for a long time remember that damned off-road buggy and its inability to grip the street. No. That was very rude, and you let somebody pass us both by. You weren't even thinking ahead of yourself. Okay, so it didn't really make me in a worse position, but it definitely did not improve my position. Oh, son of a... I will run you off the road just to begin 6th place. And you will feel bad because you were ran off the road by somebody who is fighting for 6th place. That's how it's gonna go. Alright, now... I wonder, though, I don't think I'm gonna be able to catch up with 5th place at this rate, though. Let alone make the 3rd place that I was hoping to with my mod. Because in all of that battle against that other guy for 5th, or for 6th place, should I say, 5th place has only gotten farther and farther from me. And these skidding turns that I keep doing just kind of allow him to get farther and farther away. Maybe I'm actually getting slightly closer. With any luck, I'll be able to pass by the 5th place driver before the end of the race. I definitely don't expect to actually pass by first. That was very nice. I appreciate how that worked exactly as I intended it to. I would prove if all of my plans from here to the end of the game also succeed as intended. So if I can pass by the 4th place driver, there's a chance that I might also pass by the 3rd place driver at the same time, which would be pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. Excuse me. And am I close enough to seal this deal? Maybe, just barely. Okay, let's take that back. One time. because I wasn't expecting to pass him by that much. Okay, that's also not going to work either. I did say I was going to pass him by one time. I'd like to, at the very least, get third place. And I can do that as long as I don't fly off into the wall. And the second race is done. All right. Let us carry on to the third race. Get halfway through this particular set. Throw on a whole bunch of mods, because apparently we've used up all of them. And this already looks like a tricky track. Place 5th and better, improve race rewards. Alright, let's buy that, because I'm sure there's going to be a night race. That's nice. More money and more experience. The real McCoy. No, thank you. Alright, how long is this? This one is 2.5 miles, only 2 laps. A lot of tricky turns for this one. First turn was to the left, I think. Yes, it is. Right from the get-go, actually. And then more to the left, and then back around. Oh, yeah, that was... That was almost bad. That was also way better than I was expecting. Although clearly this one doesn't do too bad off-road. Although it helps that every time that I've kind of gone off-road in this car, has generally been in a straight line. Like, any time you go off-road and then you start needing to turn, I believe that's really when problems start to show up. Although the sand wastes also provide their own problems in regards to slowing down your vehicle. But that's its own texture. If I'm driving all the way into the sand wastes, then that means I've clearly gone way off-road. You and your M&Ms can stay behind. Although peanut M&Ms are delicious. Which is what that car is advertising. I saw there's apparently mint-flavored M&Ms. And I'm somewhat curious to try. I don't really know if I really am that big of a fan of chocolate and mint. I do like chocolate, mint chocolate ice cream. Excuse me. Thank you very much. Alright. This race I'm not doing too bad in. As I immediately make an extremely wide skidding turn that allows the first place driver to get away from me. I think I know where I'm going to pass this guy by. Or at least I'm going to try to pass him by. There's going to be this loop here, and then a very long straightaway that leads to a sharp turn. I'm going to try to use that straightaway to slam into that car. Okay, so that wasn't a good plan. Who would have thought? Definitely not me. Definitely a terrible plan that, that I wouldn't try twice. I'm okay with its success, even though it was stupid. See, the trick is not to spin so much. You just have to stop spinning all on your own. No, I think what helped was I was already kind of turning right as I hit him. I don't know. My knowledge of the physics in this game is not strong enough to, I suppose, really understand like what I did differently the second time versus the first time. I think I did slow down a little. I wasn't quite going as fast. So that might have helped. Like, I did brake a little bit towards the end. Either way, we won. Let us move on. Alright, halfway done with this set. Another half to go. See, like this in comparison, there was a set a couple sets ago. I forget what I was driving. But I described it as an ordinary driving experience. Like, this set is not necessarily much faster than that previous driving experience. But I feel as though this car is at least feels a little fun to drive, whereas that previous car just felt like an ordinary driving experience. Like, this car at the very least feels like it has a bit of strength to its acceleration. Like, that's probably one of the main differences. It has a little bit more grip onto the track. That ordinary driving experience didn't quite have that. Let's throw that down, place fifth or better. Definitely that. And let's get going. First turn is to the right. Also, I've discovered that if I hold down on the R trigger in a very, very specific way, it doesn't lock up the R trigger in a similar way that's been happening in recent races. So that's what I've been trying to focus on. To hopefully prevent the right trigger from locking up and causing issues. I'm apparently, while playing this game, I slam my finger on the R trigger in such a fashion that is causing damage. Ah, hold on. We can maybe use this as a means of passing by the second place driver. Excellent. All right. In second place, first of 3 laps. So far, so good. Alternatively, you could probably argue that this doesn't feel like quite so ordinary of experience because I'm winning, and there's that. And I can't argue with that. Actually, wait, I probably can't. And my reasoning is going to be based on my experience driving that off-road buggy. Because, like, what I just did now would have... That was like every single turn in that buggy. It was always sliding every which way. And it felt like it was very difficult to kind of compete with the other buggies because I wasn't quite that good at... Okay. I'm vaguely aware of what I'm doing, but it is working. So yeah, that buggy just kind of slid all over the place. It wasn't very fun to drive, largely because the handling was very poor. Now, if I was better at driving it, would it have been fun to drive? Possibly. So I suppose I should reconsider my statement by saying something more towards the idea of it's not particularly fun to race for newcomers, because like its grip is not quite as. Let's try to avoid quality statements, because the handling isn't quite that accepting to new drivers, like that's the specialty fighter versus the Ryus and the Kens of this world. But because I couldn't necessarily figure it out, I spent most of that those races, falling behind. Now, the ordinary car. What made that car ordinary versus everything else? One, it was relatively slow. Two, they accelerated very poorly. It accelerated very poorly. Going off the starting line, barely moved an inch past any of the other drivers. Like, with this car, I can still kind of, like, floor it and push my way past everybody right from the beginning. Whereas the other car, again, it focused more on skill rather than mechanical prowess. Although I suppose I did somehow manage to fly by a whole bunch of people and stay in first for this track without actually using that rewind feature. So maybe I'm trying to be too kind to that off-road buggy and that ordinary car. But this is not a bad ride that I'm more or less scratching up and banging into things, but that seems to be what I do in all of these races. Because you could say there's like an argument, like, there are games where the goal is so difficult to a degree that the game expects you to behave in a very specific fashion in order to succeed. Whereas this game, you can actually drive badly and succeed. It all depends on the mistakes that you make and the mistakes that your fellow drivers make. Also, I have no idea what car I just purchased. I bought it way too quick. Is it raining? No, it's not. It's sunny. Like, I'm pretty sure there are better drivers than me who are doing amazingly clean, smooth, trips around the circuit. And then there's me slamming my way past cars just to fight my way tooth and nail to first. In theory, I could drive cleanly, but where's the fun in that? Alright, first turn is to the right. Let's stay a little bit close to the side, try to avoid getting into the grass, which is going to be a little bit of a problem, but not really, because this is not a very... a very narrow track, and already... really, I only have one move. Clearly, I just have one move in regards to this game. Just floor it, slam into the car that's already in first place, and then try to drive cleanly for the rest of the track. That is probably the only consistent move I have to succeed in this game that I've really exercised well. Like, I've tried driving clean, although that's the thing. The next time I find myself behind in a race, I really should just try to drive as clean as I can, just to see how well that strategy works in regards to passing by the people who are in first, versus driving like a crazy person in hopes that my crazy turn, which would only work 1 out of every 10 times, happens to work that one time after several rewind, and see how well that actually helps me out. But until then, I will speed past everybody, slam sideways into their automobiles, hit the gas, leave them in my dust. The question, though, is if I do well enough. In theory, the game might ask me to raise the difficulty, and I've been on and off in regards to this. But considering there's so little game left, there's just going to be one more set. And one more race after this. And then it's all over. Today is what? What day is it even? Today is September 7th. If that gives you an idea of how far ahead I'm recording this. The game goes off. Its end of life is in 8 days from now. I'll be done with the next, the final set, probably tomorrow. So I do have time to still play. And I probably, I probably should at the very least try the multiplayer to see how well it runs on my internet connection. I doubt it's going to work because my internet connection is awful, but I suppose I could at the very least try. Well, I mean, how bad can it be? I'll probably just lose. And that would have been with a good internet connection. Although I wonder how strong the online community is. Like, is the online community great enough that would have maintained Forza Motorsport 7's place? Because, like, that's one of the reasons why Bethesda's saying that they're removing the Battle Royale mode from Fallout 76, is because the numbers of users are dropping and they can't fill matches fast. It takes too long to fill matches. Matches aren't full when they start. So, and that's all. A lot of that is because they're just not making enough content. Like, they've provided no updates to their online service. And, like, I don't believe that this is a game-as-a-service thing. That Forza Motorsport 7 is a game-as-a-service. Which means that they're probably, like, they delivered as much downloadable content as they were going to. Though I wonder if there are unintended consequences to having this end of life. Like, would people who are really big into the multiplayer component here end up finding their way into other racing games? Alright, also we've been doing pretty well for this set. So I'm not going to use any grid improvements for the track, because one, I don't think I need it for the amount of points that I'm at. And two, I've actually been doing pretty well overall. So I don't necessarily doubt myself too much. Oh, it's nighttime. Gotta slap one of those race at night cards, because there's only going to be so many opportunities to use them. And they make the big bucks. Let's remove top 3. Toss on race at night. Actually, which one was more money? That one. It's all about the money. All about the credits. First turn is to the right. Very sharp turn. Which leads to another very sharp turn. And another one. And another one. And another one. Alright, let's swing a little bit to the right. This is going to be crowded. This is going to be very congested. I definitely didn't make anything better that way. Oh? You're not supposed to... Alright. Are we? Are we making it? We're making it. Maybe. This guy's creeping up a little bit more, a little bit closer than I'd like. Alright. Excellent. You know, after all this time, I've spent most of my time, when I'm choosing a car, I tend to look for the car with the really good handling. But what I really need is a car with really good acceleration. You could say that having a really good acceleration is where I excel. It sounded better in my head, I swear. But yeah, like the ability to just kind of launch myself off the starting line versus being able to take the turns. Seems to be where I tend to favor most. That's where I seem to have spent most of my skill points. Which is a-okay, because we're almost done with the first lap. I'm already in second place. That wasn't as terrible as I thought it was going to be. I thought that was actually going to be much worse. And that I was going to just crash right into those tires. But clearly I need to have a little bit more faith in my abilities. I'm not the same driver I was 26 episodes ago? 25? For a second, I was not sure whether I should be following the track that went towards the wall or the track that didn't. Because they were both open road. And it's dark outside, I swear. You can see how dark it is right now. But yeah, as long as I don't do anything stupid the rest of the race, I will definitely have the podium. This is probably going to leave me at like 46 to 47,000 points out of a total of 50,000, which means that I could probably finish the last set in 6th place or worse and still end up finishing the game. I'm going to try to avoid that. I would like to end this playthrough with a bang rather than a whimper. But that's the thing about this game, is that I would like to also finish it without falling into a habit of too many rewinds. So it'll just have to settle on whatever I pass as skill. So that's why I always hope for the best, expect the worst. But yeah, there was a thought I started and I hadn't finished. The idea that, like, people who are fans of the Forza Motorsport 7 online community are just going to migrate into another game. Like, I suppose they would be hoping that the game of choice turns out to be maybe Forza Horizon 5, which I believe comes out later this year, which is an easy choice if you have the Game Pass. I'm playing this on Game Pass. But for others who purchased the game, like, who purchased Forza Motorsport 7 day one, like, I would see how it'd be troublesome how they would be like, how they would wish they would be able to actually keep playing beyond this point. And while I could definitely never set, it's hard to say whether Microsoft will ever consider re-upping their car licenses, I can at the very least say that for now, we are done for the night. Got any suggestions for someone to play next? Leave them down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have yourselves a good night.